my name is Connor Meath, and I'm here today at the 2016 Canadian Science Policy Conference with Shawn McGuirk, who's the president of the Science Policy Exchange. So Shawn, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So to start off, why don't you tell us a little bit about Science Policy Exchange? What makes it unique and what makes it important?
So Science Policy Exchange started in 2011. We were a group of students that just wanted to make a difference in policy in Quebec and in Canada, but mostly in Quebec because there was no organization that existed in Quebec for this at the time. We were doing yearly conferences to try to bring experts, students, and the public together. And in the last 2 years, we've kind of been morphing into more of a think tank. So we've been trying to run working groups, try to really get the student voice concentrated into white papers that we could then bring to policymakers, to stakeholders across the board.
Fantastic. So what are some of your current goals as an organization?
So currently for the last year we've been working on this one paper which really focuses on bringing the student voice on the state of STEM education in Canada to the public, to the government, to really try to bring about more changes to the discussions happening around the world. And we thought that Canadian students should really be involved in this. But we want to keep trying to educate the public on new policy issues that are happening, especially the public around Montreal that often don't hear that much about science. So we have a genomics policy event coming up in the next few months. We're trying to do some social events to try to get students to interact with professionals, to try to get them more chances to get into their career, to really expand their networking. It's all these kinds of things.
Great. So as a little exercise in science communication, if you had to summarize the white paper in a single PowerPoint slide, what would that slide say?
There's really a lot of points. I mean, it's a 30-page document. If I was going to say only a few things, I'd really say that we need more development of critical skills. We need to incentivize students to get out there to try to get those skills for themselves. This is not something that necessarily STEM education at the undergraduate or graduate level, even before that, will get you. It's something you kind of need to get out for yourself. But at the same time, industry, government, and all stakeholders really need to value what an undergraduate degree means and what a PhD or a master's degree means in terms of what that individual can bring to the workforce. And that's not something that's really well understood.
Great. So now that you've released this white paper and had this tremendous reception at the Canadian Science Policy Conference, what's your plan to keep this momentum and to leverage it? So what are your next steps?
So there's another group in Quebec which works with the chief scientists of Quebec, which is called the Comité Intersectorial Étudiant, so the kind of interdisciplinary committee of students for the FRQ. And they're working with the chief scientists and basically policymakers across Quebec to try to bring the student voice to new changes in policy. So they did a similar type of event. We focused on STEM students, they focused more on humanities, social sciences, but there's a lot of commonalities between these groups. So now we're basically meeting together, we're trying to come up with a more core set of recommendations, and right now we're setting up meetings with policymakers across Quebec to try to bring these recommendations to light. And then if we can bring that to the federal level, then fantastic as well.
Yeah.
That's the next step after that.
Excellent. So my last question, for our viewers at home, where can we go to download this white paper and to read it ourselves?
So we have a brand new website. We just started it last week. So it's sp-exchange.ca. You'll find news reports, blogs that are coming out regularly. If you want to find the white paper, if you go to the news, it should be the first one there. The paper is called Student Perspective of STEM Education in Canada. We haven't translated completed to French yet, but there is a French resume or executive summary of the paper that's available there as well. And then we're on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're quite easy to find if you look for Science Policy Exchange.
Fantastic. Shawn, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thanks.